Welcome everybody. I'm Joel Addington, editor of the Baker County Press, here with commission candidates, incumbent Commissioner Jimmy Anderson on the right, and second time commission candidate Ricky Horne on the left. We're going to start in alphabetical order, so Commissioner Anderson, if you could tell the good folks at home a little bit about yourself and your campaign this year.
Yeah, my name's Jimmy Anderson. I'm current county commissioner. I've been in the community a long time. Most people know me here in the community. I'm pretty well a man of my word. When I say something, you can just about take it to the bank. I love Baker County, and that's why I serve Baker County. I served Baker County before I was commissioner, and I'll serve Baker County as a commissioner, and I will continue to serve Baker County when I'm not a commissioner. Because I love the community. I love the people here in Baker County. It's a special group of people here. You can go all over the state. No place in the state is like Baker County.
Amen. Mr. Horne, same question to you.
My name is Ricky Horne. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. Got a wife, Stacy, got four babies, or 4 children and 6 grandbabies. Let me get that right. I'm so used to my grandbabies that I forgot about the kids.
I know that.
But I've been here in Baker County pretty much my whole life. My grandpa was a county commissioner here in this county years ago, and I'm running for a little change. I think it's time to get some new ideas in and see if we can't get something started here. The county is growing, going to continue to grow. And I just want to be part of the growth and go from there.
What are some of your favorite places to go in Baker County?
To eat, all the restaurants. We do a lot of eating out.
Yeah,
we travel a lot. I like going to the forest.
Yeah.
Riding the woods, taking my grandbabies fishing. Doing some hunting. Just things such as that. When the rodeo's here, we go to rodeo. The fair, we'll go to the fair every now and then. I don't go all the time. And just general, it's just a nice place to relax.
My favorite place to go is church.
Mm-hmm.
And all the churches. I love visiting churches. But anyway, I love being with family and friends. I love visiting. As a child, Daddy would always carry us from Jacksonville to Ocean Pond. Mm-hmm. Every weekend, we was riding in the back of a Ford pickup truck with tarps over us, because if we was going camping, it was going to rain. Mm-hmm. So he would bring us out to Baker County to Ocean Pond, and we would camp all weekend in the rain. So every morning, Mama and us would have to get up, take all of our sleeping bags out of the tents, hang them up, let it dry out. That afternoon, Baker County, it's going to rain in the afternoon. We'd do it every weekend. We were doing the same thing, but we loved it. And I love the outdoors, like Mr. Horne. I love being out in the forest. We hunted the forest for many, many, many years. I like riding ATVs. Shoals Park is a diamond in the rough of Baker County. I love the history of Baker County. I love the old jail, the library, and the Heritage Park. There's just so many things to love about Baker County. You can't really pinpoint it to one thing. I think growth is going to be in the forefront. If you look around, I've served on many boards throughout Northeast Florida, and I think growth is a big issue. And trying to manage that in the way that we want here in Baker County. Smart growth. Not so much as manage it, but making sure we do everything right. When people bring in ideas, they bring in how they want to do their subdivisions or whatever, we need to really investigate every part of that. Pick it apart and find out if that's going to be what's perfect with Baker County. If it don't work for Baker County, we have the option not to accept it. But the state is making that more difficult also.
Sure. Any second or third priorities?
The second priority is roads, like always. in Baker County with our funding, our funds. We have to go out for and beg for money, basically, to get a lot of our roads, and we've done that successfully. But there's a lot of internal roads and neighborhoods and stuff like that I would like to see brought up to standard, dirt roads paved, and I think that's a high priority on my list.
Well, the first is to mend the fences between the commission board and the clerk of courts. I think we all need to be on the same page in this county. It's not a big county whatsoever, so there's no sense in infighting. There's no sense in costing the county more money for lawyer fees and sending their kids to college when we need to be concentrating on saving money for our county. So that would be one of my priorities so you can go forward. Naturally, growth is coming. It's coming. There's no stopping it. How you do it is going to be critical because you need to, and that right there entails infrastructure. Okay, growth, and then you got infrastructure. So to me, your second thing, you need to look at your infrastructure and see if it can even handle and what kind of growth it can handle and where at in the county can it handle it before you can even look at the housing development people to come in and start putting houses up, and then all of a sudden you find out you ain't got enough EMS, enough sheriffs, enough water supply, enough sewer. So you need to do a survey on your infrastructure you have now to make sure you're taking care of the people who are here now, because that's the most important thing. The people that are here now, they've made this county, so that's going to be one of the main things that needs to be done. Well, like I say, you got to get your infrastructure up so you can bring housing and everything in. The tax now, it's the tax, state tax or the property tax is going to be a big issue, and that's on everybody's plate, everybody's agenda. They're thinking about it. You get asked questions that you can't answer them. I mean, it's going to have to happen. Then you can go from there because you can't. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm not in there to see all the faults or all the good things. So seriously, I really can't give you a good answer on. I can't fix anything. I don't know what the problem is.
Certainly, but from the outside, would you see any areas that maybe you'd like to?
Well, there's a lot of stuff I see, but I can't go to pointing fingers at the people who are actually doing it, or I can't point the finger at the board. I don't know. They might have gave leadway and gave monies for a certain thing, and nobody knows. It's just not been used yet. I do not know. So I don't want to go to pointing no fingers at any of that.
A wait and see approach. I understand. Same question to you, Mr. Anderson. Which county departments, under your purview, of course, do you feel like need improvements today and why?
I think the most improvement we need is basically countywide is finances. We're asking our employees to wear 6 or 7 hats sometimes because we just don't have enough employees. A budget is an issue with that. I mean, you can say that you want to do all these things, but if you don't have the money to do it, then you can talk all you want to talk, but if you don't have the finances to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. What I do think is if we would provide our employees with the things that they need and the equipment that they need, they can fulfill their job. Because there's nobody more dedicated to Baker County than the Baker County employees. I've been around them for a long time. I worked with them before I became a commissioner. And they love Baker County as much as anybody. If they didn't, they wouldn't be working for the money that they're making. So
you're right.
I think that it's not an individual department. I think it is a county-wide problem of getting the money where the money needs to be so that they can get their job done.
You know very well, the county commission, the county in general has a very large general fund balance, reserve, call it what you want, 20+ million, 25 million at the start of the fiscal year from what I understand. How would you like to see that money budgeted moving forward?
That would go back to my previous, when I was talking about infrastructure, the roads in our communities that we can't get grant funding for from the state. I would like to see some of that money go to there. Of course, I want to see a reserve and keep reserve because we need money in our bank account when we have a hurricane comes through. There's many a times we're floating quite a bit of money before we can ever get our money. And a lot of grants that we do, we have to put the money up front, even road projects, before we ever get reimbursed. So what you don't want to do is take all that money and then spend it all out, and then you're sitting there with no money when you really need some money. So it's going to be an even balance, an even keel of what I like to see our recreations continue to grow and do better. We are investing money in our recreation, in our parks. So I like to see that continue. I like to see investment into the infrastructure in Baker County. I would like to see central water and sewer in Sanderson. So that's one of the things I would like to see, because their water quality is not very good over there.
You would need, I feel you need to do an assessment through countywide, Mr. Anderson said, and let's see what needs funding first.
Yeah.
Let's do an analysis and see what needs funding first and tackle that area. Whether it be the water system, the labor for the workers who are out here, is there something we can do for them? Because like I said, that they don't get paid a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And they're dedicated to their jobs. You have to be to do what they do for what they get paid. So is there something we can do for them? Is there any more playground equipment, recess equipment, anything to do for the youth? Is there somewhere we can put a travel ball field where we can bring other people into this county and get their income, and then they can go back home, eat at our restaurants, come stay at the hotel rooms, and then bye-bye, see you next weekend.
How much would you like to see? How much would you like to see reserved to
As much we need to keep. Well, we need to keep a reserve. You always need a reserve for rainy days, hurricane days, fire days. I mean, fires has been a big issue. So definitely, I would say keep a lot in the reserves. I don't know, what the last hurricanes cost the county, what the infrastructure cost the county, and we get reimbursed back, how long that time frame is. But you always got to keep a reserve, a pretty decent sized reserve, because there's nothing getting cheaper.
Exactly.
And interest rates aren't getting cheaper. There's a lot going on that like I say, there again, you go back to this tax situation that's going to happen. Everybody's panicking about it. So we need something just in case. We have crews that do pick the litter up, but if you rode around Baker County, you don't have enough people or money to have a company go clean all your litter up. People need to be more paying attention to what they're doing. When you got a bag of trash sitting on the back of your truck that blows off, stop, pick it up. It's the people. And it's tough for me to say you need to educate the people to not litter, but basically that's what it is. Yeah. They need to be educated. I drive trucks. I have trucks. You throw a cup, styrofoam cup, I know everybody has done it in the back of your truck. You bug them down the road, blows out. I'm one person. What happens when 1,000 do that? Then your place starts looking like, a trash bin. Community pickups, community get-togethers. Go police your road. We police our road. We pick up trash, and Lord, let me tell you something. I hear it every day. The wife, she says, "Why right here? You turn from Mud Lake, they throw all their paper right here, all the trash in that one area." I've talked to a couple other people on 90 the same way. They keep their place clean. They said, but it's aggravating. People throwing trash out, throwing bottles out. So education, you got to get to the youth, and if they see something, have them pick it up. As far as being able to make it all done, I don't know. I mean, it's individual. It's an individual situation.
It's funny that you asked that. When I first became a commissioner, this was one of my top priorities was garbage. I even developed we had community pickups. And the Mormon church went with me one time. The Boy Scouts went with me one time. And then there was a couple other events we had. We picked up as fast as we could pick it up. They were throwing it right back out. I actually got almost hit by a bottle that somebody threw out in the car while I was picking up trash. So it's personal responsibility. our county employees are doing everything that they can. We hired a crew, a private company now to come clean the roads because our prisoners that we used to get from the Baker County Corrections are no longer there. And when they were there, anybody remember COVID?
Mm-hmm.
When COVID came, we couldn't get prisoners. And then that's when it really started going downhill because we used to utilize them to help us pick up trash and keep our roads clean. And now we don't have that. So now we're paying for a company to do it, but there's just not enough people. When you clean up a road, it don't take but one or two trash bags going to the dump and one car hit it. It's everywhere.
You're right.
So if the people are not going to make the difference, the county is never going to be able to make the difference. If people don't care about what Baker County looks like, you can have all the governments in the world and you're not going to change that. You got to have personal responsibility. If you drop trash, pick it up. If you put something in the back of your truck, just like Mr. Horne said, you know it's going to blow out. Don't put it back there. If you do, put it in a bag.
Let's start with the first one. Data centers.
Data centers. I am working regionally on data centers. It's a lot of people's concerned about data centers. The state of Florida is concerned about data centers.
Yourself?
Me, I'm concerned about data centers because you just don't know what they're going to do. I know that I've talked to several people, FPL, and right now Baker County could not supply a data center. We're not set up for it.
How about flock cameras?
Flock cameras. Let me tell you a story. I know a story, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I know a story that happened probably not a month, 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was a split up between a mom and a dad. One of the two, I'm not going to say which two, left the state with the children. Nobody knew where they was at. If it wasn't for flock cameras, those children would not be with their mom or daddy right now.
Yes, sir.
So
I understand how you feel about that.
And let me tell you something else. If my daddy had Alzheimer's, gets in his truck and drives somewhere, I would be glad if they would check the flock cameras and see where my daddy's at.
And Sunday alcohol sales.
Sunday alcohol sales. In Baker County, when I first became a commissioner, I went to several counties that have alcohol sales and some that don't. I walk into the big chain restaurants. I said, I want to speak to your manager. Yes, they bring the manager out. I said, what? At first I asked the one that had allowed alcohol sales on Sunday. She said, is this your biggest seller on Sunday? Alcohol. It's minuscule. I went to the one, could tell you the counties, but I'm not because I don't. But anyway, I went to another county that don't have alcohol sales. I says, and they get the same restaurants. So I wanted to be fair. I don't want to go, and I'm not going to name the name of the restaurant. They're big restaurants. I says, you're a dry county on Sunday. Yeah, we have been forever. What do you feel about alcohol sales on Sunday? Would it help your sales? He said it would hurt my sales because people would not come in here. These are managers.
So it cuts both ways.
So it's both ways. So it's really whatever the preference of the county is. And if my preference is to have alcohol on sales, you still got to convince 4 other commissioners to believe the same thing.
Yes, sir.
For me, our history is not to have alcohol sales on Sunday. And until somebody can come in here with some data that proves that alcohol sales on Sunday is going to benefit Baker County financially, why change? We all say we want to keep our heritage. We want to save Baker County, want Baker County to be the same. But then the first thing we do, the new people come in, they want to change Baker County. It starts with the small stuff.
The data centers, I do not agree with them whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
None. They eat too much resources up for very, very little, other than the people that with all the computers and all the executives and all their sitting in their penthouses, all that money goes to them. It does nothing for the county. Absolutely nothing. It drains the county. They don't have to hardly employ anybody. It's good when you build it, but you have out of town workers coming and building it. Very few from the county will do it. I mean, we don't have the people to build it. Once it's built, they're gone, and you're stuck with the.
And flock cameras, how do you feel about that?
Flock cameras, I have been getting hammered with flock camera questions. And like I've said, I still don't know enough to give a educated decision, yes or no. I'm not going to say I'm for them. I'm not going to say I'm against them. What I have found out, though, is they're everywhere, and it's not just our sheriff's department that done it. I've done a little bit of research, and like I say, there probably should have been a little bit different approach on how they got installed. I feel there should have been a couple of things, and there probably was, about, hey, look, people, this is what we're going to do, instead of just all of a sudden people start seeing poles up, flock cameras, and then you get rumors started, and you know how that goes. It spins out of control. But Home Depots, Lowe's, shopping centers, and I paid attention today when I was in Lake City. They're there. It's not the sheriff's department that done it. It's not the state that done it. It's them. It's the store that done it to protect their assets. The ones that are out here on the state roads, way out here at Florida too, we didn't do that. Our sheriff's department did not do that. Come from the state. So they're there. They are there. Maybe there needs to be some more education on who gets the data, who retains the data. Because from my understanding, the data is dumped every 30 days. It's dumped every 30 days. So a lot of the concern with them is people misusing it. And I can understand that's human nature. There's a bad seed everywhere.
That's right.
And like the sheriff's department is using them for an example, because that's the big stink right now. They need to make sure it's maintained properly, and they don't let someone get in there and misuse the system.
Yes, sir. And what's your position on Sunday alcohol sales?
Sunday alcohol sales should be done. I mean, it brings revenue to the county. I mean, it's now this is my person, and I agree with him. There should be a survey done, research it. But everywhere I've been, I've traveled all over the country. I've been to places that was dry, was not dry. And I went to some who was dry, and then they become not dry, and they was ecstatic. I mean, all the people who left their county to go get alcohol now stayed in their county. So it helped the stores out, and it helped the county out on the funds, because you're actually losing funds as a county because you get funds off of that. You're just taking and looking at money. We're always saying we need money. That's an avenue to have money. Every people who drink, they're going to go somewhere to drink. Now, Sunday, they used to run moonshine on Sunday. They didn't stop on Sunday. I mean,
now run drugs on Sunday.
They run everything on Sunday. But, we don't need to have a bunch of big, I'm going to use Jacksonville as an example. We don't need all their hoodlums coming here and infiltrating Baker County, bottom line. So it's not to bring them in. It's for our people. So our people don't leave and don't go to Lake City and spend money. Don't go to Stark and spend money. Don't go to Jacksonville and spend money. If they want to have a drink with their dinner, they can come here. Yes, I am for the property taxes. Personally, I mean, how can I say this? Yes, I want it. All it is it's up to $250,000 before you start paying taxes. So it's really not that big of a deal, so to speak, because there's places in this county right here that's well over $250,000. So the people gonna pay taxes on the rest of it. What I do not like about the taxes to begin with is, if Mr. Anderson bought his house 20 years ago and it was worth $80,000, just because someone says it's worth $400,000 today, he shouldn't have to pay taxes on $400,000 because he ain't reaping no benefit out of it. He doesn't have. He shouldn't be pay his taxes for what he bought his place for. If he sells it, then the tax comes. So I mean, there's a lot of people, old timers. This county has a lot of old timers in it, which is great. That just shows you something about the county. They never left, don't want to leave. So that's saying a lot. They shouldn't be taxed out of their home. They should not be taxed out of their farm or their home. So yes, we do need some revisions on the way it's done.
I think it is good to let everybody vote on anything. I think that people's choice is very important in a democracy. I also believe in education, educating people on what they're voting for. I went to Tallahassee. When they was bringing it up, I didn't go over to oppose it. I've heard people say I went over there to oppose it. I didn't. I wanted to go over there and educate myself. I agree with him. I think that it's a tax. I don't understand it completely because if you would have been there with me in Tallahassee, they don't even understand it.
They didn't give a lot of time.
I call it the Nancy Pelosi bill.
Oh boy!
Because just sign it, and then we'll see what it's about. I actually went over because they had on the amendment. They had on the amendment there's going to be a fund set up to help small counties like ours if we struggle, to make.
Yeah, because you took the money away.
Because they take all our money. I said, well, I have no problem with that. Where's it coming from? Where is the fund? How much is in the fund? How much are you going to allot to each county? Well, we don't have none of that yet. I said, well, then take it off the amendment. If you don't have dedicated funds, you don't have a fund. There's no such thing as a wish fund.
Yes, sir.
So I don't think that that's why I agree with Mr. Horne, education. Just let people know. If they take away the money, there's a possibility that things might change. There's a possibility that they might not. But the thing is, don't lie to the people. Don't tell them that the state is going to give us all this money to make up the difference when they're not. And who wants to be dependent on the state of Florida? Who wants to be dependent on the federal government?
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. And that is a
Absolutely.
perfect transition to the next question.
That is going to be a fun thing for any commissioner. To me, I don't see any way of making up. The first year is going to be close to $4 million in loss to the county.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah. The second year is going to be around $8 million loss to the county. So you tell me how we're going to make up that. I knew when I came in as a county commissioner, we wasn't in very good financial shape. But now we're sitting there with a pretty hefty reserve, and we balance the budget every year. So I'm a firm believer of living within your means. But when you take a $4 million or an $8 million hit in 1 year from a small county like ours, I'm just being honest. I don't know where we're going to make that up because there's no opportunity to make it up. It's not that you can make it up. There's no opportunity. You can't get that money anywhere. And then the money that they had in their little fund over there don't exist.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson, for that.
I mean, the money tree ain't there?
The money tree ain't there. If it is, I didn't see it.
Commissioner Horne, you may be sitting in that chair making this decision, come next year.
Well, initially you're going to have to make changes, because you cannot have your revenue start coming in to cover that cost that's gone. That don't happen in a snap of a finger. The county is going to be, in a little pinch, but they're going to have to make some adjustments on where they spend money. I know right now everything is about, the county ain't got enough money now as it is. Well, the county's pretty well off, and we want to stay pretty well off. Bringing more houses in is not the answer. So I do not agree with that whatsoever. Bringing in like ball field to bring tourists here would be something to think about for bringing revenue into the county. Alcohol sales on Sunday will bring revenue into the county. You know, things such as that. There's a swath of things you can do, but it's not initial. And when they pass this, or if they pass it, say they do pass it, that's initial. That's a drop. Boom, that's gone.
Gone.
That ain't no gradual gone. That's gone. So it's going to take some creative planning. Bottom line, it's going to take some creative planning. Yeah, yes, I've had a couple people talk to me quite a bit about that, and I've been giving it some thought. All the development, like you say, we're rural. We got a lot of areas out in the country that them people don't even want people moving in out there. I don't know how many spots we have here close to town as far as acreage goes. But if you're going to bring in little subdivisions or whatever for more tax base and more people, which is going to happen. I had one guy, and it makes sense once I got to thinking about it. He said, try to keep it centralized to the city, in the county area, close to the city, because that way your resources, your fire, EMS, your sheriffs and all, don't have to go all the way out to Taylor on an emergency call for one house on 10 acres. You know, they're not booking out of town, basically. Anywhere you drive in Baker County is out of town. But they right there, but your infrastructure has to be dealt with prior. And if new developers come in here, there needs to be something set that they are responsible to cover their whether they charge each house an impact fee on that house that whoever buys it pays, and it goes to the county. Water and sewer, that everything has been updated. There's new technology out there. They can put a water and sewer plant in a subdivision that handles that. It doesn't strain our existing, which our existing is how old? I mean, I don't. It's ancient. It's on its last leg. It can't really serve too many more.
Just like I said, I agree, and I think that's what we basically have done. Is most of your subdivisions you see throughout the county are close. They're not. You have 1 acre subdivisions, 2.5 acre subdivisions, 5 acre. To me, that 1 acre lot is about 90% of people in Jacksonville move out here for. They think they're moving to the country because they got 1 acre. So I think you have to have staggered growth where you got your 10 acre tracts, your 20 acre tracts, your 5 acres, and then right on down. But all of your smaller, say half acre, quarter acre lots need to be centralized in an area close to the city, close to infrastructure, close to the sheriff deputies. So they're going to require more than the 1 10 acre lot that we got out in Baxter. I'm not saying they're more important, because the people in Baxter need fire and protection and the sheriff's department as much as anybody else. So. Sure. But I would think that all your growth needs to be centralized and closer to the cities. I think several times and many times I've always said that we need fire protection, and my goal here when I became a commissioner was to have full-time firefighters here in the county, and we do have that now. We have 2 brand new stations, which we had to work through Tallahassee, and I was part of that, getting the 2 new fire stations here in Baker County. The SAFER grants is good, but I'm going to tell you, even with the SAFER grant, they go away in 3 years. So it's still the county footing the bill. So yes, I'm in favor of Cuyler having a full, because we need protection on the north end of Baker County. And I am going to support having that protection. I have supported having that protection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's everything else is too far away when an emergency happens. And I can tell you from experience, from personal experience, they need some people out there, fire department out, a couple of people will do wonders. Just a little example, because I used to live off of North Alton Road years ago. I had an accident. I had a fan blade come off of a motor and hit me right here, shattered my jawbone here, broke it in half here, shattered it here, and it was still stuck in my face.
I hear that.
Fortunately, and I'm home by myself, I had to walk in, get the phone, call 911. Anyhow, it's a long story. Fortunately, there was an off-duty police officer in the area. Had he not been in the area, I can't tell you what would have happened. I can't tell you about him being right here talking to you right now or not. He just happened to have been a minute down the road. And he come up and then he got on the horn and started making things happen. So yes, they do need, because it's growing out there. There's more people out there and things are going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So you need a little bit of safety net back there for them people.
So thank you, Mr. Horne. Final question to you. Earlier this year, the county commission voted 4-1 not to pursue a state operational audit, citing the high cost at the time. If you were serving, how would you have voted, and why or why not?
Well, initially off the top of my head, as an outsider looking, I say, y'all done voted to have it, have it. Why turn it around now? I don't know all the ins and outs of what the cost of the county was or what all's happened, but I do feel if you went to Tallahassee to say, hey, we need an audit, everybody agreed we need an audit, then don't change it. Have you audit.
Would I vote the same today? Yes, I would vote the same today. And the reason for that had nothing to do with the cost, because we're still going to pursue an audit, but we're going to pursue an audit that will actually do something to find out the issues and how they help the Baker County. And the reason I changed my mind, and I said it in a public hearing, which when I make a decision, I always say it in the public, what my decision is. And if you go back and listen to the meeting, when I said the reason I didn't vote is, and I gave the reasons then why I didn't vote, it wasn't because of the money. Yeah, I don't like giving the state of Florida any money, because they sure ain't. I'm going to leave that one alone. But anyway,
Ain't going there.
I would make the same vote today, because I still want an audit. I think that the clerk wants an audit, and I think that it'll help Baker County, but let's do the right type of audit. Sometimes, and the good thing about being a commissioner is sometimes you make a decision and then sometimes you go back and you think, maybe that wasn't a good decision to do this route. I am working the regional council as a president, and I knew some commissioners there that went through that state audit. I'm not going to mention counties, I'm not going to mention names. They said, what are you doing? They're not going to do what you want them to do. The state of Florida auditor said, we're not going to do what you want to do. So as a commissioner and being physically responsible to the county, why pay for something that they're not going to do what we was looking to get done?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I made the decision, and that's the same thing I said in the meeting. It didn't have nothing to do with the money, which, of course, nobody wants to spend money, but we're still going to have an audit, and we're working through the RFP process now to have that done. It's not a drop ball. It's just with the state, and even the state auditor said, this is not what you're looking for.
I certainly wanted to give it to you.
You ready?
I still want to keep you
Okay.
pull that one.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I ain't gonna lie, I'm nervous to begin with.
This is not easy.
This is not.
For just volunteering to do
And I just want to let Mr. Anderson know what I'm doing is nothing personal. I didn't even know Mr. Anderson, and he's never done anything to me personally. I mean, he's been doing his job. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, look at that bad things. No. So just would like you to know that. I have this is just business to me.
Yeah.
Any closing comments?
The closing comment that I had, I feel the same as Mr. Horne. I mean, I don't know Mr. Horne personally. I don't know any bad thing about Mr. Horne. If I did, I wouldn't tell you. I'm just that type of person. I think he's in Baker County. To me, he's family. I mean, that's the way I look at anybody in Baker County. We're all family. Sometimes we don't agree on some things, and that's okay. We're supposed to be like that. Sometimes our board don't agree, and that's okay. If we all agreed all the time, it wouldn't be a good board. So, but I do want to say one thing, and this is for the kids out there and the parents. I'm giving a school kit away with teaming up. The YMCA board here at Baker County and me are teaming up, and we're going to be giving away 200 back to school kits. And we're going to do it at Cuyler Intermediate, August 3rd, 4 to 6 p.m.